So what actually is tutorial hell and why is it a problem? The course needs to be updated. The content was old. The code was deprecated and wasn't working. What did these people do? That's what people do. That's what people get paid for. It's boring. It's boring as hell. But that's problem solving. No, it's bad. It's not bad. You just suck at solving problems. Now we have to talk about something that's preventing you most likely to be like a professional, to act like a professional, and to harness the skills that professional needs in their day-to-day job in whichever tech field really. And the number one reason most likely if you're a learner is tutorial hell. So let's discuss how to escape from that. Also at the end of the video I'm gonna reveal my tutorial hell to you, and it's not pretty. So with all the tutorials available out there to learn different kind of skills, no matter if it's tech or whatever, really, there's like a tutorial for everything on YouTube, on Udemy, on Coursera, on whatever skill platform. There's like a gazillion of them. And to be honest, I'm really happy that these sites exist because they do democratize the learning skill. But the affordability brings a problem, because when you're learning, when you're starting to learn skills, new skills, you're kind of in this void that you're not quite sure what you should learn, and is this what I should be learning? And yeah, so you kind of get into this, and then you might see discussion here or there on some social media platform or some Discord group or whatever, that this and that skill is actually better. And the reality is that doesn't matter. Of course, these course platforms are not totally bad. They have great structured content and affordable to most of the people. And there's some free content obviously, but that's usually not as structured or not as good as a whole, or maybe not updated. So those are things you have to consider if you decide to go buying tutorial. But the problem is you are most likely never going to finish the tutorial. And that's why you're just gonna be ending up in this tutorial hell, where you learn, as you learn about new stuff that you need to learn. And some things you might find them boring, or you think they're not relevant, and you just want shortcuts, and you end up buying another tutorial, because in that tutorial they're talking about more on that subject that you just learned that you need to learn about, instead of going through the first tutorial and finishing it. The problem with tutorial hell is that it hinders your ability to solve problems. You just throw money at things, at the problems. You're not trying to solve them. You just think, oh, I need to learn this, so I'll just get this course. Instead of actually going out and building something from what you've already learned, and then see if you could turn that into another thing with the thing you think you need to learn. So reality is that you just instead of solving those problems or trying to learn the how to solve the problem, you just solve it by buying another course. And in the end, you're just gonna end up in tutorial hell, deeper and deeper into its bottomless pit. So the typical symptoms of tutorial hell are as follows. You have a bunch of unfinished tutorials across different platforms or one platform. You don't have a self-confidence to solve the problems with the skills you have already learned or at least copied from a tutorial, and you lack a drive to build projects on your own, but instead of getting a project idea, you're gonna buy a tutorial. For example, a little dirty secret about myself: I wanted to build a blog site. I actually bought a course that builds a blog site, even though I pretty well know how to build a blog site. So why is tutorial help such a crushing thing for you as a learner? The problem is it stunts your growth because you're lacking the actual skills that you need to learn, and you solve it by tutorials. You need to learn problem solving, no matter what tech skill you're trying to learn and or whatever ecosystem you're trying to get into in tech. You need to learn how to solve problems. And in real life, you don't solve problems by buying tutorials. The other problem, and to be honest, quite little addressed problem, is that completing, if you ever do complete, most likely you don't, completing the tutorials give you a false sense of accomplishment. What did you just accomplish by going through the tutorial? Did you actually learn the skills, or did you just follow the coding tutorial or whatever and copied what they did? The false sense of accomplishment is very dangerous in a sense that you think you have created something awesome when you did that Netflix clone or the Airbnb clone. But when you send out applications to job postings, the hiring managers have seen gazillion of those same clones. So you haven't really built anything. You haven't showcased that you actually solved a problem. And you're getting rejections. And rejections are horrible, especially if you don't learn from them. And there's probably a tutorial out there that deals with the frustration of getting rejected on job offers. I mean, it's endless. It's a money pit, even though they're cheap. But when you have hundreds of them, you have just thrown out money when you could have just solved the problem and learned what was wrong. Do an audit. What was wrong? Why is my portfolio not even getting looked at? It's because it's full of clones from some tutorials, and you haven't showcased anything. Not a single skill except copy pasting code or whatever the skill you are looking for. So that then leads most likely to buying another course and another course, and you're gonna end up in a burnout situation where you're just throwing tutorials at problems that you should be solving yourself. So I'll give you 3 very simple self-assessment steps that you can execute and understand if you have a tutorial help problem. So let's get into it. Step number 1. Do you feel confident about building a project or solving a problem without taking a look at a tutorial, and instead use the other ways of solving problems, like official documentation, Google, maybe some ChatGPT? You know, do you feel confident? While learning from a tutorial, can you explain the concept, what you just learned to someone else so that they understand, like someone who's a little bit behind you, or post about it somewhere on X, on Discord, wherever, where you explain the concept just by learning in public? Do you? Can you? And step number 3, can you explain the why behind the functions and the concepts in the code that you just learned? Can you? If your answer is no to 1, 2, or 3 of the questions, then you are in tutorial hell and you need to start moving out of there, like right now, if you want to get into tech. So how to get the hell out of the tutorial hell? Let's get to it. 1, don't buy another tutorial until you have finished the ones that you already have. If they're deprecated, like I see this tons in like Udemy or whatever, where there are courses on sale. The people have bought it. They make comments and reviews of the courses, and they end up with these kind of comments. The course needs to be updated. The content was old. The code was deprecated and wasn't working. What did these people do? They probably bought another tutorial instead of finding out what the problem is, how they can make the deprecated content and the deprecated codes work in the new version of this and that technology. Like, that's what people do in tech. When you have an outdated version of this and that technology, you need to update it. That's what people do. That's what people get paid for. It's boring. It's boring as hell. But that's problem solving. That's what you need to learn instead of going to the comments and buying another course with little whining here and there. Oh, it's bad. It's not bad. You just suck at solving problems and you just throw tutorials at them. Okay, end rant. Number 2, build your own projects. Start small. Also, if you don't have any ideas, if you have a project half built, finish it. Or if you have made something in, for example, like a Python to-do list, do it in JavaScript, just for the hell's sake. Learn something, learn to solve these problems. It's not about the coding language. It's not about the app that you build, but you need to start solving problems and you need to start building your own stuff. It's the only way. It's the only way that you learn the stuff that you need as a professional. And you don't need to be ashamed of building a to-do app. If you look at it in a large scale, every app is a to-do app. It's just CRUD. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just to-do apps with different clothes. So don't be ashamed. Just build and share and teach about what you've learned. That's what professionals do. They discuss the problems they have and they solve them together. Step 3, join communities. Get peer reviews. Get an accountability partner. Get someone that you show that you haven't bought another course. Whatever it is, just network with people. Step 4, build or learn in public. Share your learnings. Teach what you have learned to others. Someone might actually benefit. Someone might contact you if you share it on like X or wherever. Someone might send you a DM. dude, I love your stuff. Where have you been learning that? Can you teach me? It sounds tedious, but teaching someone what you know is the best way to learn more. So that's how problems are getting solved. And you might meet people there, meet professionals. I'm gonna make another video about building a network. And if you have questions, ask. Don't be afraid. You can leave them here in the comments. You can contact me in my X. I'm gonna leave it my link down below in the description. You can do this stuff. Just get out of the tutorial already. And now let's go into the dirty little secret I promised you. So after all that preaching, let's get to the dirty little secret. So here's my archived courses, which have either completed or has deprecated. While here, especially ZTM courses are getting deprecated, they have transferred to their own platform. So if you try to get ZTM courses, be wary of that. They're probably not refreshing them on Udemy platform, but they are doing it on their own. As you can see, 3 completed courses and 1 deprecated, and I have more than 60 of them uncompleted or never started. Some of these are freebies, but you know, you got the gist. Just get one course, finish it, build project out of it, and do what I've been telling you to do, not what I've been doing. There you go. Tutorial hell is real. Get the hell out of there. Now, get into tech.